past and the movement than he'd ever reveal openly.
Hiya, mate. How are you? How you doing? It's all right, I'm in the animals. Good as well. Graham.
Getting close to Hammond was an important part of Graham's cover story as an eager ALF supporter. He used his campaigning credentials to meet Dave Hammond.
I'm the chap who catches the body diggers and dog poachers. Oh, yeah, brilliant. My God, time that just right, didn't we, mate?
It's brilliant.
Hammond admitted much more to Graham than he told dispatches. He revealed how he'd personally organised a campaign to frighten people in their homes.
It was all totally illegal and undercover. It was, well, everything but kill the bastards. It got so bad I couldn't move. Surveillance across the road down, surveillance at work, and follow me up the road. So I went to work, the police car was there. I'm joking. It's fucking outrageous. We found out where they lived and everything. So I had someone who worked in, we got all their addresses on the fucking computer. So we knew exactly where they lived and everything. Right. I mean, there are, as you know, there are means and ways of...
Oh, yeah.
Of course they shit themselves when we turned up their house.
The ALF's own archive footage shows Dave Hammond in a balaclava, bringing fear to the doorstep. Dave Hammond had even set up an internet site to promote his own animal campaign, New Vegan Liberation. For the last 18 months, his group has campaigned on the platform of non-violent protest. But when Hammond was secretly filmed by Graham, he boasted of tactics that would encourage attacks.
In the whole of the world, they won't be able to move unless they have plastic surgery and change their appearance and move house. Believe you me, they won't know what's hit them. Because every activist from all over the world will know where they are and they'll do things.
Good.
Because they do. Because they care passionately about animals.
Yeah.
And anyone who hurts an animal is fucking dead meat as far as they're concerned.
Hammond told Graham one tactic might be to circulate among animal rights militants the names and home addresses of suspected animal abusers.
And they'll think, shit, I didn't know he was there, stuff like that, and then things will happen, and it'll really give them a hard time, which is what we want.
Right, mate.
People are sending things, you know, through the box, like ticking away and things.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But that's not our problem, is it?
If a reformed ALF man is still talking about revenge attacks on so-called legitimate targets, what might be lurking at the heart of the movement? It was Graham's next task to find out. His target would be the ALF frontman who appeared alongside Dave Hammond at Lewes Crown Court. At a motorway services cafe, Dispatch's undercover reporter Graham Hall lays out his cover story to the man at the heart of the Animal Liberation Front. He tells the ALF press officer Robin Webb that he wants to give the ALF some money. Webb immediately suggests a way to launder the cash. He wants to channel money to finance even more violent animal liberation groups who put lives at risk.
Money can't go to the supporters group really, because the supporters group has to answer for what happens to that money.
Yeah.
Obviously it needs to be laundered, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it would need to go into other accounts. Now, did you just want it used for ALF type stuff, or did you want it used for more radical stuff as well?
Just keep saying that to me, because
Robin Webb then suggested funding 2 ALF splinter groups, which have been prepared to bomb and maim people.
Well, I mean, I've got no hang-ups. The only main difference between the ALF and the more radical ones is the ALF basically takes every precaution not to endanger life of any kind.
Yeah.
And the Animal Rights Militia and the Justice Department, for example, have always said that they are prepared to physically harm animal abusers.
I'm not bothered, Robin.
But as far as I'm concerned, if people are are scared out of doing animal abuse. It doesn't matter if they're scared out of doing it or educated out of doing it, as long as they stop.
Webb suggested two groups which needed funding. The first was the Animal Rights Militia, which has just pledged to kill 10 people if Barry Horn dies. Webb personally faxed that death list to the press last week. The second group, the Justice Department, announced its arrival 5 years ago with a campaign which took animal rights attacks to new extremes. It was terror by first-class delivery. Dozens of bombs were posted to those who went fox hunting, worked in the fur trade, or used animals for scientific research. The authorities, worried about the spread of these terror tactics, asked the victims to keep quiet. Even today, few will speak. One man would, providing he remained anonymous.
If one can imagine the kitchen, very quiet, 8:30 in the morning, I was making sure that the member of my family had breakfast. I retrieved this from outside the door, this parcel. It's not uncommon for me to receive in the post-opera CDs and video cassettes. I didn't open it immediately, but glanced over to see everybody's happy, and then proceeded to open the parcel. It didn't take long. I think I just opened the envelope part. Flash and bang. It blew up in my face. My hands took most of the brunt. They were very bloody and black from the explosion. I was taken to hospital with the other member of my family.
Do you believe it could have killed you or anyone
Undoubtedly.
else? Graham Hall next discovered that the public face of the ALF has been actively encouraging the spread of violent and destructive tactics. What you're about to see is Robin Webb supplying our undercover reporter with an extremist animal liberation magazine containing detailed instructions on bomb making. But Webb cleverly tries to make sure the bomb instructions can't be traced back to him. Before he passes the papers to our undercover reporter, he puts on gloves so his fingerprints can't be traced. But our hidden camera catches him in the act of handing over the manual.
There's a load of rubbish in the magazine. That might interest you.
Very nice. Use the glove. Fair play to you, boy. Robin Webb has just supplied me a bomb-making manual. Unbelievable, isn't it?
We showed the manual to our expert from the Institute of Explosive Engineers.
The manual is an encouragement to attempt arson. It's got very simple techniques which would be easy to follow, and I think that an unprincipled, unsophisticated enthusiast might well be tempted to try them out, even if it's in a very simple sort of rudimentary attack. It's the first step towards a course of action which could be far more serious and far more damaging.
How serious could it be?
As with any major fire, which it could produce, a major fire carries the risk of death and injury to citizens, firefighters, whoever may be in the vicinity.
By handing the bomb instructions over to Graham, Robin Webb was starting to drop the charade that he was simply the ALF press officer. Here was the first compelling evidence that he's been directly involved in inciting terrorism. The bomb instructions were contained in this magazine, SARP, Support Animal Rights Prisoners. It was the work of the hunger striker Barry Horn, the firebomber who's become the ALF's most celebrated militant, and SARP reflects his philosophy.